All about the club. How tough is this moment?
Yeah, incredibly frustrating. Incredibly frustrating. If I look at the game first, rather than the sort of period of time that I've been here and maybe the season overall, the game's quite symptomatic in some ways. The first half, we make a really poor mistake to give them a lift, give them a gift. We've done that too many times. I think one of the frustrations then, we probably don't match the urgency of the game and the importance of the game with our performance. We still create a couple of good moments where we should score. And then second half we come out and whether the penalty gives us an extra lift, but from there on in I thought we were absolutely excellent and again maybe if we'd have played with that urgency for this sort of last 5-6 games we'd have got more points, but we certainly looked like a team at least going to give it some fight towards the end and again created lots and lots of good chances, couldn't take them. So yeah, hugely frustrated with the game. I think the bigger picture is you don't get relegated over 3-4 games, you get relegated over a season. And I said to the players in there, we missed a lot of chances, but I don't think that necessarily just tells a story. We've only kept 5 clean sheets all season, so I don't think anyone can just look at our forwards and think that's the reason why we haven't been as clinical to win games. We've also given poor goals away, and I think you could see that tonight. The 2 goals that we give away, are really frustrating. So yeah, I've got to be honest, probably for the 12 games is the most frustrating period I think in management I've had, because I believe our performances have been more than good enough to take a lot more points. If you look at the chances we've created over this period, it's been we've been really, really wasteful.
You mentioned tonight the urgency and particularly the passion showed in that second half, and I suppose there must be a frustration for you, the fans, that has been missing on occasions. Can you pinpoint why that is? Is there been a cloud hanging over the club? I mean, we know there's been a points deduction during the season. There's been difficult moments.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I can only sort of speak for the period that I've been here, and of course look, I think it should be frustrating for the players as well. If you're a player sat in that dressing room and there has been games where I wouldn't necessarily say, we certainly have played with energy, we've played with commitment. I think we've been in virtually every game up until sometimes something happens in a game, and maybe then we perhaps not showed the same passion to chase games or the same mental fortitude really to chase games. There's been a few games here where we've just let the game go after conceding a goal when the game's still there. But like I said, it's there's been so many games. I think we've drawn 6 or 7, and if I'm being honest, if you look at the chances and the stats behind it, we should have won probably at least 5 of those games, but we haven't. We have to learn. I think the club have to accept this is, the horrible part of the journey of a football club. This club won the Premier League not too many moons ago, and of course this is going to, that was an incredible high at the time for the fans, for everyone associated with the club. I think everyone saw that as an amazing achievement. I think we can be equally as disappointed with how poor this moment is, and like I said before, the club has to rise again, but it has to learn its lessons, because it's certainly been a season of an awful lot of regret.